Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, I have had to go back to my secondary school days to dust up some of my literature books because we necessarily have to start this video the right way, and that way of course is by quoting a verse from one of Chinua Achebe's excellent books. A Man of the People is the name of the book. The verse is in chapter 9, so you can go read chapter 9 of that book, but I'm just going to quote you this verse from that book. Odili returned to the village of Anata and finds the villagers in an uproar. Josiah, the local shopkeeper, had tricked a blind beggar and stolen the beggar's walking stick. Apparently, the belief is the stick can be used to make a medicine to increase people's desire to buy from the shop. The villagers are angry and disgusted with Josiah's greed. A villager says, Josiah has taken enough for the owner to notice. So that is the phrase really that I wanted us to arrive at, and that is entirely why I read you that verse, just to take out that quote. So again, a villager says Josiah has taken enough for the owner to notice. So Josiah has taken enough for the owner to notice, and with that guys, I bring you this. Zamfara State Assembly nullifies law authorizing pension for ex-governors. So that's the headline. Zamfara State Assembly nullifies law authorizing pension for ex-governors. Now, before we get into it, you will recall, of course, that I brought you the story of the Zamfara former governor writing a demanding letter to the sitting governor, insisting that his upkeep is not being paid. His upkeep, of course, being 10 million naira a month, plus a pension of his salary, his last salary before he left office. So he gets his last monthly installment of his last salary before he left office every month. On top of that, he gets 10 million naira as well. So now, off the back of that, this is now the latest development. The Zamfara House of Assembly on Tuesday abolished a law that allowed the payment of pension and other allowances for states' former governors and their deputies. The spokesman of the State's Assembly, Mustafa Jafaru, in a statement to journalists, said the abolished law also affects ex-speakers of the House of Assembly and their deputies. The development is coming days after a former governor, Abdulaziz Yari, in a leaked letter to the state government, requested his 10 million monthly upkeep, which he said had not been paid for some months. The media aide to Governor Bello Mutawalli, Yusuf Idris, on Tuesday confirmed that Mr. Yari had written the request. He said 2 days later, Yari, also sent another letter of reminder demanding the payment. However, the State's House of Assembly on Tuesday abolished the law authorizing the payment of pensions to these categories of former officials. Presenting the bill before the House leader Farouk Dosara, PDP Marandun, that's his constituency, urged his colleagues to consider the complete repeal of the law, which provides the jamboree payment for the former political leaders of the state at the detriment of the retired civil servants who have not been paid their entitlement over the years. According to the lawmakers, this category of past leaders are collecting over 700 million naira annually, which he said the present economy cannot accommodate. Seconding the motion, Tukar Banin Tudu, PDP member representing Bakuru local government area, said the abolition of the law is necessary. After deliberations, the Speaker, Nasiru Nagaria, pushed the process. The bill passed both first and second readings. Later, the House went for a committee of the whole, after which the bill went for a third reading. The bill will now be sent to the governor for his assent, the spokesman said. With this development, all past political leaders in Zamfara will no longer enjoy any entitlements unless those prescribed by the National Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Mr. Jafaru quoted the speaker as saying, in the statement. So now this is now the latest development. As I said, we started with Chinua Achebe, of course, and we landed, of course, on he has taken enough for the owner to see. So these people have now taken enough for the owner to see. And when you are saying somebody has taken enough for the owner to see, what you are really saying is that somebody has now gone that deep in that something now had to happen because it was no longer sustainable. So effectively, they have taken enough for the owner to see. And this is now what is now happening in Zamfara state, because a state of that level of poverty, having in excess of 700 million naira taken out of their coffers monthly by these elements, because this is not the only past governor, of course, and if he's put this law in place, then that law cascades all the way through, and his deputy, and then the speaker and his deputy, and where will it stop? Because the people there will also be eating their own on the meager allocations that this state gets. So now, of course, they had to repeal that law, and repeal that law they did. So there's absolutely nothing to be argued on this, and I would like to now see this former Governor Yari go to court so that he can be humiliated in the law courts, because this is the just crass greed that has been holding back that Nigerian state for a very long time. Now, let me just run you through some figures just to really highlight what is going on here, because we do have to match some of these narratives with some figures sometimes. So now here is the allocation that Zamfara state gets from the national coffers monthly. So this is just for a random month, so this just gives you an idea. So I'm just trying to dig up that figure now. Okay, here's Zamfara state. So Zamfara state on average gets about 4.7 billion naira from the national coffers. So out of that 4.7 billion naira, the officials, these ex-governors, ex-this, ex-that, and current this and current that, they take at least in excess of 700 million. We can account for 700 million from these figures that we're looking at now, from this letter that this Governor Yari has written to ask for entitlement, etc. But then, of course, there will be other expenses that will dwarf this, that is not a part of that 700 million. So we can really go to maybe in excess of 1 billion out of that 4.7 billion naira that it's been allocated to the state monthly. So this is really the eye-opener for that state. The population of the state is about 3.2 million people. So these 3.2 million people now, they can have 3.5 billion naira, and then these GBT people can have 1 point something billion naira. So this is now the goings on in that state. And Zamfara, of course, is one of the poorest states in Nigeria. I have no doubts about that. It's in the top 10 poorest states in Nigeria. I think it actually ranks number 10 as the 10th poorest. Or there's a top 10 list, and it's number 10 on that list. Let's just have a look at what it says. In accordance with the National Bureau of Statistics, Zamfara suffers a 70.8% rate of poverty. So a 70% rate of poverty, which is pretty much the whole of the people of that state effectively are in poverty, because you can be sure that the 30% that are not in poverty are ex-government officials. So out of the allocation that is going to this a deeply impoverished state, these people want to be taking out a good 1 point something billion naira out of the 4 point something billion naira that these people, that these citizens of this state get monthly. So this is now the narrative now. So now, alas, the new person in place, I'm not sure if he had a prick of conscience or if it's the national outcry, but of course now the situation is now he has taken enough for the owner to see. Conversations in the comment section. Chinua Achebe did say it in his book, and we're now seeing it play out in real life. Come share thoughts with me about all this in the comment section. But before you do this, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you're making of what is going on in Zamfara state. But don't limit it to Zamfara state, by the way, because this pretty much, you can be sure, repeats in virtually every other state in Nigeria. So come tell me now about this revelation that we have been able to glean from this letter that this Governor Yari wrote, demanding 10 million naira a month, as well as pension from his state, the top 10 poorest state in the country is demanding 10 million naira from their coffers. So share thoughts about all this with me in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, engage with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.